Hi, this is Dave in the IQ Center with another quick tutorial on preparing files for woodblock printing. I just want to show you a couple of techniques if your drawing is a little more difficult, a little more grayscale, or it has a lot of detail. So this is an example on the screen right now of something that would be difficult to laser cut onto a woodblock the way it is. And I want to give you a couple of options for how to proceed. One thing to do is to just increase the contrast and then trace the image. So let's take this image and go up to Image, Adjust, Levels, and let's slide the sliders in from the left and right. And so what we're doing is we're cutting off some of the stuff that's gray and telling it to be white, and some of the stuff that's black and telling it to be some of the stuff that's gray on the other end and telling it to be black. So we can control. So we can make this sort of look like a black and white drawing. Now I know that this might not be the original intent, but the original would be difficult to print. So we're trying to make something out of this that can be cut in the laser and still give sort of the impression of what was here to begin with. So anyway, this is just basically a high contrast version. The other option is to actually use the brightness and contrast controls, but I find that the levels adjustment has a little more finesse. So now we've got something here. I'm going to click, I'm going to OK that. And then what we want to do is, this was a PNG scan, so we want to save this as a JPEG for Illustrator. So I'm going to go Save As. I'm going to call this JPEG Asset 4D. I've done this a couple times before, and save it as a high quality JPEG. I'm going to hop over to Illustrator, and I'm going to do File, Place, and 4D JPEG. Now, one thing that we're going to need to do in Illustrator is to embed this image. So it comes in as a linked image, and we're going to click Embed in the Quick Actions. And then I'm going to select Edit Colors, Edit Colors, Convert to Grayscale. This is something that we have to do with all the JPEGs we bring into Illustrator. Make sure it's a grayscale. And then I'm going to make a copy of it so we can keep this one. And this is our original, so but it's converted, it's inverted. So we're going to take our adjusted image and do Edit Colors, Invert. So now this is the original drawing inverted. This is the high contrast version from Photoshop. And then we can take this and trace it. So so if we take our high contrast drawing and then choose a preset that is, let me close this and do Image Trace here and do Sketch Start. And it's saying it's going to proceed slowly. Click OK. Okay, so now I'm going to bring up the tracing panel, and by sliding this back and forth, we can make these lines darker and more. So this threshold is saying whatever whatever meets this level of gray, call it a solid black. And so as we slide to the right, we get more stuff. And you can see this is not going to print too bad. There are still some small chunks in there, but that will be okay. And then just to compare apples to apples, we're going to invert this. So I'm going to do edit colors, invert colors. Now, here we can see this is our original. This obviously has more detail than the final, but all of this stuff in here will be very difficult to print. All of this grayscale stuff will fill up with ink or burn away and not hold any ink at all. This is closer, but still has a lot of high resolution detail, and this is a more and this is a traced vector image. This will print okay. We still have a lot of thin lines that may not hold up, like right here. This is kind of a difficult, a very small line. But all in all, this will print a lot better. So this is one option. Increase the contrast, trace it, get rid of some of the, try to get rid of some of the grayscale. Another option for things with grayscale is to make a halftone out of it. So let's go back into Photoshop and let's undo all of our stuff that we did. Okay, so here's our original drawing, and so grayscale things like photographs can be made into somewhat effective woodblock prints by using a halftone process. We can't have all of these really fine little details. We need to mimic that with larger chunks. And we do that in Photoshop with by converting the image to a bitmap. So we go from the image mode, from the image menu, we select mode, and we make sure we're on grayscale first, and we discard any color information. And then we go to mode and choose bitmap. What that's going to do is it's going to convert this into either black or white using some process. So it's asking me, do I want to flatten layers? I click OK. And now here, this is asking me what the resolution of the output file is going to be. And in our case, the input file is 600 dpi, or pixels per inch. And so that's what we want our output to be. This is like how the resolution of the final product, not the resolution of the dots. That's going to be coarser. That's in the next step. And what method are we going to use? And you can try different options here, but halftone screen works pretty good for this. You can try different things, but you'll see what's going to happen here. We're going to choose halftone screen, and then I click OK, and then we have some options here. What is the frequency of this? And so, as the frequency goes down, you get a coarser pattern of dots, and so you can play around with different options in here. And then angle is the angle that the dots are on. 45 degrees is a standard in the shape of a diamond. Okay, and so let's try 30 lines per inch and just click OK. Now see what it does is it takes all of that really fine black and white or grayscale detail and converts it into a series of larger dots. Now, these are still kind of detailed, but when we do a tracing step on this, those will turn into nice round chunks that will laser cut okay. So if the grayscale portion of your drawing is important and you need to have gradients and you cannot do it with just black and white drawings, then this can be an option. Photographs actually respond pretty well to this, and they will hold up okay when you laser cut them onto wood. So let's take this and save this out. So we got to do one thing first. We have to now this is a black and white only image, and in order for it to work in the laser cutter, we need it to be a grayscale. So we need to go image mode grayscale, and it's asking what the size ratio is. You choose 1, and then File, Save As, and we're going to save this as a JPEG, and we're going to call this asset for halftone, high quality. Then we go to back to Illustrator and File, Place, and choose asset for half, place, and I'm going to put it right in here. And that looks pretty good. This would actually print the way it sits, but I think it will print better if it's if it is well, we had to do two things. Remember, as soon as we bring in this grayscale, we need to embed it. So quick actions, embed, and then edit colors, convert to grayscale. Even though we saved it as a grayscale, I don't know why it won't stick. You have to convert to grayscale. So embed, convert to grayscale. Then we're going to trace it. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to make a copy of it so we can compare these two. So we're going to go select this new image and do image trace and choose sketched art and click OK. And there we go. Now this is a vector drawing. This is just a bunch of little vector shapes, all in the shape of and this will print all right. This is there's some fine detail in here. There are some little tiny things that won't print perfectly, but this will do better than the original. And let's take these and invert them so we can compare them to the upper images. So we're going to go edit colors, invert colors, and do the same over here. Edit colors, invert colors. And this is going to have to redo the tracing. And there we go. So we have this versus this, and if the sort of gray nature of the detail on here is important, this might actually work better. But this line screen has to be fairly coarse. And back in Illustrator, we could even do it coarser. Let me undo this and undo that. And let's try that one more time. Let's go image mode, bitmap, flatten, 600 halftone screen, and let's try a 20 line screen. So this is where you make the lines coarser. So if I do this 20, we do this, and so you get larger dots. The larger the dots, the better it will laser engrave, but the less detail you have. So that's the trade-off. And we could go through the same process. But those are two options for getting artwork with grayscale into a woodblock printing workflow that would have a better chance of success. So I hope that helps. Thank you for watching.